Yo, you have to admit, it's pretty exciting at the moment. I've always thought American politics is exciting, even though I know it's completely rigged. Even though I know that the DNC and the GOP parties are probably the two foremost terrorist organizations in the world, and that America will never be free and the rest of the world will never be safe while they're around. And they being one party, because I don't believe they're two parties. But this Kavanaugh situation right now is especially funny because he's blatantly guilty, right? At the same time, she's not completely honest either. I say guilty. I think she's honest, but I think she's also guilty. And here's what I think she's guilty of before I start dissecting him a little bit and to tell you why he's going to end up, well, he'll get off of everything because he's a fucking judge, right? But here's why she's guilty. Now, one is, if you're a doctor, you've got a little bit more, let's say, emotional stability. He was far more of a bitch than she was, don't get me wrong, right? He started blubbering and crying for himself, right? Not for the victims, not for other people in the world, but for himself. My wife, my kids, you know, give me a fucking break, you're a judge. But let's get past that one. So she apparently, oh, by the way, like this video if you're looking forward to the bad lip reading that's going to come out, because I know it's going to come out soon. It's going to be hilarious. I can't fucking wait. Give a like up if you like that, and if you don't want to see that, if you're not looking forward to that, just look up instead. All right, wicked. So getting back to the point. So you look at Dr. Ford's statement. She starts crying, breaking down here and there. Yeah, okay, her family's been threatened. People use that as the excuse, but her training is going to give you a little bit of stability. Then again, some of the most crazy women I've met and have pursued me have been psychiatrists, and they've been fucking nuts. So, and psychologists. So anyway, just let's get past that. So you take this woman, this thing happened 36 years ago, she's gone on with her life, but she's still held a vendetta, obviously, because she wants to see him burn. That's why she's kind of crying, because I think she's actually putting that on because she wants him to pay for what he has done, right? Not like what, you know, like someone had been through, being beaten and actually raped. She's gone through a lot less. So the mental scarring, and the thing is, someone had an argument with me yesterday, like, it's not going to debate with me on the effects that people have on trauma. It's fucking bullshit. It's a cop-out. No matter how bad the trauma is. I've been through some major shit in my life. I had facial reconstruction surgery, been attacked by groups of fucking guys. I've been raped by women 3 times as well, but the cops don't give a fuck. The thing is that you get over everything. Time heals all wounds. I don't just say that for a laugh. It's a cliche. Cliches are born of fact, right? 36 years, and you're a grown woman, a grown, strong, independent woman, social justice warrior tags now, and you're telling me that you haven't dealt with that by now. Get fucking real, whatever. So obviously what she's doing right now is playing to the camera. She's doing a very good job of it, and she wants to see him burn, and rightfully so. The downside is that you apparently she says it's because, well, basically the gist that she's giving is that now once she heard he might be a contender, that's when she jumped in. Well, why didn't you jump in before, when this motherfucker is actually sentencing people to God knows what? You can imagine what a lot of Republican judges are like. They won't be very forgiving. They usually are kind of, well, look, he's an egomaniac. You can already see that. The way he talks about his dad, and, you know, he can't just talk about going to golf. It has to be pro-golf with his dad. You know what I mean? These things are telltale signs of a blatant egomaniac, you know, narcissistic fucking megalomaniac. Basically, you know, he screams of it. You know, he screams of even the way he can't keep his composure. I'm getting off track here. Let's go back to her. So what she has done as a psychologist, understanding that, let's pretend she has some empathy, okay, for anyone other than herself, which is not empathy, but anyway, she would have done everything she could to stop him being a judge. The guy was 18 years, you know, he was 18 or 17, and she was, what, 15 or 16? Now, and she obviously became a doctor, a psychiatrist, or psychologist, I'm not really quite sure which one. And understanding all that time, all those people that he is sentencing, putting away for God knows how many years, we see that what happens in America, it's the most unjust, Britain and America are probably the two most unjust developed countries in the world, probably Norway and Sweden and other countries are close as well. But anyway, but the prisons here are really bad too, and as they are in the UK. Of course, they're nothing like what you're going to get in Turkey or Bulgaria or, real third world countries like India or Thailand and stuff. But anyway, they're still quite bad. So what she's done is just completely selfishly not done anything. Well, I'd say selfishly, and allowed all these people to go away, because you'd be wondering right now if he does get done for this, or it'd be probably beyond the statute of limitations, so there's nothing they can do about it anyway. So even if they do find out he's a attempted rapist, that's all the point I'm saying is that I think she exaggerated things here and there, which is sniffling, but then I couldn't believe when I heard his testimony, and he's basically breaking down, crying, mentioning his daughter, mentioning his dad on more than one occasion, and then continuing to sniffle for ages. It's actually embarrassing. It's amateur dramatics. This fucker has been in a court of law for years, sentencing people to their whole lives, taking lives away. I mean, this is the belly of the beast. This really is evil, right? Because this is the legal system all over the world. Where I've been through my fair share of shit from the New Zealand legal system, Australian legal system, British. They're all unjust. Yeah, most of them are based on evil Roman law, which was meant to deliver more money to the emperor or the king. When they modify it for Europe. And at the same time to absolve noblemen, the elite, of their crimes. So whatever, anything ranging from prima nocte, you see what happened in Scotland and all over Europe, to basically feudal wars taking land off people. It was all meant to justify their crimes, right? So the law overall is actually a net injustice. That's what people don't understand. They think, oh no, but the thing is, remember some of these crazy people that get put away. If you didn't have the legal system, they'd be put away anyway, because someone would eventually get brave enough to blow their head off. Even if there was a mafia organization, believe me, people make a well-formed militia and they go after these people. So overall, the cost to society of government, let alone the legal system and the military system, it's all a fucking waste of time. It's not even a waste of time. It's detrimental to the health of all of us and our planet, as we can look around us and see. Because we've been here for hundreds of millions of years, and now in the last couple of hundred years, we're getting, let's say from the time of Plato even, right? We're forming these governments. And since then, things have been getting progressively worse, even though they're probably getting better in some ways. I think overall they're getting worse. You didn't have people rotting, you didn't have millions of people rotting away in jails for crimes they didn't commit. And there is millions now, right? You didn't have population explosion like we have now. And I know that's partially due to Dr. What's his name again? The Scottish guy, Fleming, coming up with the penicillin. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. I think that she's being honest, but she's also exaggerating a little bit. She's playing for the cameras, obviously. I don't think she's that scared. Put it this way: she's come out. She's got a worldwide audience. If anything happens to her now, she's protected by recognition. She knows this. She's not fucking a retard. Let me move on to Kavanaugh now. Why I know he's guilty. I mean, it's pretty bloody obvious. One, he doesn't want the FBI investigating. He's asked about that again the other day, Thursday, and basically said, "Oh, I'll do whatever the commission wants." Whatever, a load of bullshit. You'd be open to it. You can see the rises in his aggressiveness. He's used to being in control. He's used to no one condescending him in any way, and he is the man. His ego can't handle it clearly because he's losing his shit. And I love watching these guys because I've watched some of my family and my brother's life get destroyed because some disgusting piece of shit, Judge Von Daddleson in New Zealand, who has destroyed families all around the Hawke's Bay region of New Zealand. Who's finally retired at 150, the piece of shit. It's funny how these disgusting guys like Mugabe live forever, you know what I mean? Anyway, I've seen the courts try to destroy my life in England specifically, costing me and my ex-wife about 160 grand pounds to defend ourselves. I've seen, and that's corrupt police, and that is them defending a cocaine dealer who borrowed money off me. Just all the shit. I've seen it before. I don't like any of them. They're usually always horrible people. Certain jobs attract horrible people. One of them is a judge, right? Public service, my fucking ass. Anyway, they always put it as, oh, I've served the public. Well, oh, you didn't get paid? No, I got paid. well, you weren't fucking serving the public when you were just doing a job and getting paid for it. Stop trying to, the virtue signaling of all that sort of stuff is just ridiculous. So Kavanaugh, he comes on. So besides crying about his dad and putting that up, I mean, remember, this guy has been through some probably horrendous court cases with an iron face, like he got asked, did you rape anyone? Have you ever raped anyone? No. And then Lindsey Graham comes on. What a laugh. That guy cracks me up. He comes on. Okay, so you need to feel ashamed for what you've done to that man. Oh. And then I bet he's going home later on that night and going, Daddy, how did I do, Daddy? Because it's just how I imagine Lindsey Graham, the kind of walking contradiction of a conservative. Yeah, I just kind of. That's funny. There's this, you kind of get this kind of. Oh, it's a walking contradiction. That's all I can call it. Anyway, so he's basically queuing himself up to look like a complete moron, right? Because they're backing a losing horse. The only upside for them is the fact that because he's a judge and because the system is totally corrupt and will never change, until it's brought down one day in the future by a more advanced civilization than what we have now. Then it means that they'll never have to look complete twats, because he'll never do time and he'll never be proven wrong, because one, statute of limitations anyway. And yeah, so that's the only kind of saving grace they have, but they are making dicks of themselves. We're backing this guy that we know is wrong. Look at the way he's acting. Look at the oh yeah, one thing I need to say is, when I first saw Kavanaugh, I actually thought, oh, he seems all right. Didn't know about any stuff in the past. But when I see his actions, what it tells me first of all is, when he gets asked if if he remembers this, or if he wants to get investigated, it's like, oh shit. It's almost like you can see, did I fuck that bitch before, or did I try to? Pretty sure she's not usually I'd go for something hotter than that, or something along those lines. I'm just saying, I'm just filling this picture, just go with me here, right? It's like, I don't know, I did rape a lot of women, because that's what it kind of like, it's like, shit, I don't know, because this could be one of the ones that I did actually shag, fuck knows, God. Let me mention all the girlfriends, female friends and guy friends that I've got who reckon, what about Cindy and Lacey and Lulu? And he started listing all those women. It just started like, I need to be the manicure by my side, but I ain't fucking her. It just started to look a little bit ridiculous. And thou doth protest too much. That's what I keep seeing the whole way through here with Kavanaugh, is thou doth protest too much. I know a liar. I know things liars do, because I'm good at spotting them, right? Certain tales, for example, like the "Are you a rapist" one. I was actually saying to my father, he's a bit of a political junkie as well. And I was saying, when he gets asked, have you raped anyone, or are you a rapist? And he goes, no. It's that startled peacock look, you know what I mean? Ooh! And what it is there's certain things, like, there's certain tales you do when you like look to the left hand side because you're inventing something, or you gulp. So sometimes you have a gulp and you gulp, and you can feel a gulp coming on. You're in court, so you know you something like that, right? You have to look downwards, so you block the view of the gulp. And there's certain things you can do, right? So there's also all right, I need to keep eye contact if you look away. That's not a tale. For someone asks you a question, right? Not just looking up the left and inventing something, but looking away because you can't keep the gaze of focus, right? So all these tales there are covers. So it's almost like a tale of a tale. It's like a counter tale, whatever the fuck you want to do. A counter tale of a tale. He's displaying a good few of them. So you just know he's guilty. Never, nothing will happen to it. This is the thing. The worst thing that's going to happen to him is his ego gets bruised. He makes a bit of a twat of himself in front of a global audience, and doesn't get the job. That's it, really. The Republicans could be forced to let this drag on, maybe even until a Democrat comes in before they appoint someone, or they might even have to. No. I was going to say they might have to maybe assign a woman to the job. That probably won't happen, but stranger things have. I mean, they did get rid of slavery after all, not the Democrats. I think they even pretty sure it was them that gave women the vote as well. Go blue. Go red. Go blue. That's the political situation in America. It's the political situation in England, which is both a democracy for that country and a fascist dictatorship for Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And thank you very much, Barack Obama. Thank you very much for coming on our TV and telling us that Scotland, it's not the right time yet. Even though there's one thing on YouTube you can find where he talks to David Cameron in the panel, he says it's up to us. What you didn't see and what you can't find anywhere on YouTube, because I fucking scoured the net, right? You cannot find the time when he comes on national TV in Scotland, just in front of us, closed audience, and tells us that we, one of the oldest white nations in the world, are not ready for independence. That is election meddling, right? So, and when you come on TV and you say, yeah, we have meddled in Russian elections and blah, 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 but you know, they're not a democracy. You don't have democracy here. You have a congressional republic. There is no democracy whatsoever. If you did, people in jail could vote. Everyone would have, you wouldn't have voter suppression. Both sides cheat. Both sides are the same side. Fuck, but they're just a false conflict. They don't really exist. You know, they don't exist as two separate entities. They exist as one entity to take your money, if you're an American, that is. Actually, everyone else too, because they rape the whole world, like England used to do, well, still does. And what their job is really to do is to take as much taxpayer money as possible and give it to their friends. G4S, military-industrial complex, Lockheed Martin, and others. Got at least 6 main players there in the US market, besides BAE Systems, and you know, Britain being the second biggest arms dealer in the world, because England has fuck all resources except for printed money and you know, pressed weapons. It has nothing else really, which is why they have to rape from Scotland. Anyway, I just wanted to explain. So what we're going to see at the end of it is effectively he won't get appointed. If he does, it will probably cause an uproar. That'll be one of the catalysts that sparked the left into going ultra libtard, and the fallout of that could be, you know, you could see everything from you know, major vicious bumper sticker campaigns, printed T-shirts, Kavanaugh out, no way, no, just kidding. You know. Then you've got the other side of things with Trump happening right now, which is obviously, look, here's the thing with Trump, right? Well, yes, a bit of an orange idiot, but at the same time, he's not an insider. He's someone that comes close to being an insider. He's someone's a narcissist, so he definitely fits in with the rest of them because they all are. You know, Hillary is, and Obama and Bill Clinton. A lot of them are also, you know, corrupt to the bone. Actually, I think all of them are, except for probably the last one we've seen was maybe, who knows, he was corrupt too. So I was going to say JFK. Doesn't matter. They're all corrupt in their own ways. You go, damn it, my nose. Sorry. Yeah, itchy here. So my point basically being is that either side, right? People from the Republican Party who are conservatives, they didn't like Trump. I had arguments with guys who were like, oh yeah, Craig, what do you feel like Trump's in? Fuck off, dick. He was like my 4th choice. Jill Stein, Bernie Sanders, and John McAfee. Well, actually, I liked Martin O'Malley as well. But, you know, I thought, well, he's the lesser of the evils that we've been given to choose. And if I had a vote in this country, which I didn't have yet, because I didn't have the what's it called, passport yet, I would vote him. And I'd still do the same again. The reason being is because he was the best choice that you had, because only 2 choices in America. You don't have a democracy. You have a pretend democracy, which is sharing. It's a fascist dictatorship in some ways, because it's left wing and right wing fascist. Well, not even left wing, because the Democrats are not left wing. They're neoliberals. They're warmongers. So both sides are basically warmonger, and then you have 2 faces that come out. Right, one is the DNC face, one's the GOP face. Neither side wanted Bernie Sanders or Trump. The GOP was in disarray. All of a sudden, boom, spanner in the works. What's happening? looks like the GOP is going to collapse. He becomes the nominee against everything they wanted. And you can mark my words, they wanted Rubio and they wanted Cruz and they wanted their other person, Hillary, in because she's a Republican too, effectively, because they're both, they're both the same party. They are equally pissed off that their people didn't come, and that's why they sometimes hold hands, like Hillary did back in the time when Obama was running, and she says, "I'm ready, John McCain's ready." They're on the same side. So what you see is them. They're throwing the toys at the pram. They're trying to do things under the radar, but they're trying to get rid of Trump. And why? I don't care. Yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah, he's done certain things. He got rid of the TPP, left wingers, and the TTIP as well. So that is the east of America and the west of America, all through the Pacific. These corporate things. I'll give you an example. There was one where the Philip Morris Tobacco Company went to the government of Niue, because they have all over. I haven't got any packets here to show you. No, damn it. They've got warnings in European cigarette packets. The warnings are all over it. They show like a dirty pair of lungs or something. And what they did was they went to sue the government and said that you're getting in the way of our making profits, because that's what it would do. They could sue governments, and if it's a small government, a company like Philip Morris can fuck them over, right? So this is what the TTIP and the TPP were allowing to do. You had protests all over the world. This was the biggest news I cannot believe it's swept under the carpet now, because the biggest news, even channels that I like Democracy Now!, I watch left and right wing stuff. I watch independent media in the center. Max Keiser's show, the Keisereport is fantastic. The leecamp one over here in America, what's it called? Redacted Tonight, really good. I like Amy Goodman, but she can be a little bit too leftards for me sometimes. And I like Ring of Fire. I like One American News. There's a whole bunch you can watch if you really do want to get some of what might be the truth, but you have to cross-examine and compare across the board and see if they pop up in all the places and they might have happened. Other than that, most of the stuff on CNN, Fox, and MSNBC is complete bullshit, and it's all agenda-driven advertisements, because that's what they are. You expect the news from a corporate media? Give me a break. So I'm just piecing all those things together and coming up with the reality there. Try to get rid of Trump because he's not creating war, and they want war. They might have shifted their agenda a little bit. They want war rhetoric, because that still allows them to spend your money on weapons. They probably learned the lesson now that they wanted to spend money on, let's say the Euro situation. Obama, what's his name? Saddam Hussein comes along. He wants to buy oil in euros, right? All of Europe, even Britain, who's not in the Eurozone, that uses the pound, they should have all been happy, because it would have made our economy boom. But what happens instead? We send our soldiers, with our special relationship, David Cameron, his stupidly polished face says, and sends our soldiers overseas to die in Iraq and Afghanistan, these places we have no right in being. Instead of going to maybe Saudi Arabia, our old pals, the ones who actually caused the shit, and Pakistan as well. Now which Britain used to own, by the way, India and Pakistan. Instead of going there, now we go to people who've never caused any shit, or countries that we've meddled in before, like Iran. Britain used to own all of Mesopotamia. And we continually get steered by, let's take a small country steering the both of us. Britain and America does everything that Israel wants. It's insane. Fine, have a country. Fine, take back what you had 3,000 years ago, even what got taken from my family, less than 100 years ago, from by the Russians, the Red Army. We're not getting it back. It's only 100 years ago. A lot of Polish Jews left. Sorry, let me explain. The west of Ukraine used to be Poland, right? That's where some of my family's from. My grandfather, other grandfathers from Lithuania. We don't get any retribution for that. That's in the EU now, and we still don't get our land back. And that's only 100 years ago. Why should they get that back after 3,000 years? And not just that, they're living side by side in Palestine. As many non-Zionist Jews will tell you, they were living side by side in peace with all these Arabs and Christians, and that got changed by this agenda that has now dragged Britain and America through countless wars, and has a hit list of countries which all been wiped out systematically. We already know what that list is, and yet when you see Hillary's rhetoric, that's why I think she's so fucking disgusting, because you know that she's just, now what's next in the list to destroy? At least Trump realizes the rhetoric can be there. You can still steal the public's money and spend it at the guys who are paying you backhanders, like the weapons companies. But you don't have to go to war. Because when you go to war, you're not really making that money back off the oil revenues from their country. Your countries like your Blackwater, and maybe prospecting companies, they're probably making some money, but it's not a net win for the country, and the country can't put up with this. It's got $21 trillion of debt. The UK's got over £2 trillion of debt. It can't sustain anymore. Germany's got record debt too. These countries are all insolvent, but because we've got rigged ratings corporations like Standard & Poor's, for example, which tell us that countries that are far richer than us as far as not having any debt and having resources, like China and Russia, that they don't have any, they're not credit worthy. And the main thing is, in my whole life, I don't get in debt. When I buy a house, I have to buy it through my mum or through someone else in my family, because I've never been in debt. That's the way the system works. You are someone who lives beyond your mind, your means, or else we don't want you as part of the system. So I went to Australia. When I was 26, I had $250,000 in my name, right? And I couldn't buy a house. They wouldn't give me one and even though the place I was looking at in the Runaway Bay was $400,000, the first place I looked at. So I had over 60-70% of the property value. They wouldn't give me one, and I had the same problem in New Zealand too. So the whole financial system's rigged. If you see my other stuff, I do another kind of series called Bitcoin Roadshow. So you'll see the whole financial system's rigged. The whole legal system's rigged. We don't need government. This whole charade we're watching on TV, this Punch and Judy show, because that's what it is, just shows how ridiculous their system is. Wake up from it. This is your daily dose. It's not really a daily dose though, because I don't do it all the time. Maybe about once a week. I don't know. Propagandakingz. It's all about waking people the fuck up, because we can't carry on being still. Well, when I say we, I'm not a slave anymore, because I've woken up to that shit. But I suppose I am in some ways, because I'm still taxed on things I don't want to be taxed on. Yeah. And I don't mind, don't get me wrong, I don't mind socialism a little bit. I don't mind a little bit. Just so you understand, I'm a panarchist, right? It's like anarchy, and anarchy is not the chaos that you were led to believe it was in school, because that's propaganda again. Anarchy means the best person for the job. People will band together. It means autonomy in the local area, not centralized so that you have no control, so that some guy can poison your land from 4,000 miles away, and you don't have a choice in it, right? That's what we have right now. So anarchy is the opposite of that. But what it doesn't say is that anyone has any kind of political authority, and I think we need to have that to a degree. So for example, let's say I'm the guy looking after the water system. I don't want to have everyone panic, so instead of being democratic and say, what do I do about this? I don't want more people to die. I need to make a decision right now. Well, I'm just going to be fascist about it and just do what I think's right, and then say to everyone later on, look, I've had to do this. I hope you guys don't mind, but look, I'm responsible for it, but I made a decision, right? I'm in charge of the water. That's what panarchy is. The best thing, fluid political, ideology applied to each decision, and anarchy, which is basically, no government, but government by the people itself and full autonomy. And you kind of assign people in areas to, that'll be under your remit. Can you look after that? Yeah, I'll look after that. But only want to do it for 2 years. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, look, someone else want to do it after that time. Well, I think I'll still be living here. That is how the world has got to move. The thing is, we'll still have capitalism. We'll still have socialism. We'll still have all these things. And the reason why is because we're moving to a world that has automation. Capitalism, as we know it, can sustain anyway. Capitalism as we know it is actually crony capitalism. It's not even real, which is why the banks got bailed out instead of being allowed to fail as businesses do. So don't believe the shit on the left. Don't believe the shit on the right, because it's all shit. All right? We should be at a stage now where we're spending our whole lives learning. You ever go through YouTube and think, fuck, I wish I could just have 4 lifetimes to learn this stuff, because there's just so much to learn. Spiritual stuff and technological things, biology, everything, astrology, astronomy, whatever it is. Because I meant the opposite when I said that before. I don't really care about the other stuff. But yeah, you just don't have enough time to do it. That's what we should be doing. If we were all doing that and didn't have to work, believe me, some lazy bastard would sit there and just take drugs. But that's going to happen anyway. Do you think we've solved that problem now? No, we haven't. But what we have done is enslave people in the wrong jobs. People are like sitting there, oh, I need to get on the treadmill so I can make the money to pay that thing so I can keep a house above me even though the house can be fucking created for free, right? And the people who are like, oh, don't tell us how to live, you know, they want to have 50 million kids. You know, get a fucking grip. Stop thinking that your pathetic little love juice is some kind of golden spunk. It's not, right? I don't believe we should be told how many kids to have. I think we should do it out of social responsibility to aim for have a maximum of 2. Because we can see what's happening is caused by the population explosion. If you're not doing that, in this day and age, I don't care about a few years ago, but especially in this day and age, if you're deciding now and you're setting out to have, it's another reason why I broke up with my fiancée last year, you're deciding to have 4, 6 kids, you are, my friend, a complete cunt. You're an enemy of Earth, you're an enemy of people, and you obviously think, it's effectively a form of selfishness. It's long-term selfishness, and people think, oh, what do you mean, he's looking after children? No, he's looking after your children. If you really want to have that many kids and it's all just about looking after kids, then why don't you go adopt some kids then? Anyway, I know this is about the Kavanaugh thing. I like to digress quite a lot. Well, I just can't help it, right? So anyway, tell me your thoughts below, because I'd like to hear them. Well, I'd like to read them, that's what I mean. But make a video. Fuck. Give me a link, I'll read it. I mean, watch it. See you later, bye.